Now this is what's really something that everybody fancies with the 1967 Beetle, and that is the upgraded system to the 12 volt, like I stated before. So you have 12 volt electrical system going through the car now, but now you also have the 1500cc motor, which is much more reliable to getting up on the highways. You know, it's now at about 50 to 53 horsepower. And then you can pretty much keep up with traffic. Even in today's market, you can keep up with the traffic today with these little motors. So, but the other great thing about this is that the fact that you have an upgraded motor, 12 volt system, but it's still 67 retained the early style look still. So you still have the early style bumpers, the early style tail lights, and just overall you have the best of both worlds, and people really like this combination. So, but the obvious changes here in the motor, of course, is the oil bath air cleaner. As you can see, there's two oil breather tubes that come down from the air cleaner that go through the front rear breastplate tin, and these tubes are actually supposed to hook up to an end plastic tube that then bolts to the exhaust where the heat box goes. A lot of times though, those are missing, and these are just kind of dangling through the breastplate tin, so you've got to make sure those hooked up correctly. But then also the fact that, let's see, the other change that they did was there's a bracket here for the oil bath air cleaner. A lot of times these are missing. You'll see on a lot of 67 Beetles. I've also seen these on later style, 68 and later as well, but this is where they started these brackets. There is a guy online, I think, that is repopping these right now, so if you are missing that, you know, it's not crucial to really have it in the car, but to be actually correct, I like to put it on. The other thing is too is, again, if VW put it there, it's there for a reason, so I advise getting it. The other thing is the generator, of course, now it's 12 volt, and you have push-on connectors. Okay, 67 had this push-on connector situation going on, and they also had a plastic dust cover that kind of covered the vents here on the Jenny. So those are pretty much the obvious changes. Of course, the boost in horsepower and 12 volt system. I, of course, don't have the correct distributor on here. I have an 009 with an electronic ignition. Seems to work really well with these carburetors, so I like to do that for a little more reliability. But overall, that's the 12 volt motor and the 1500cc. Again, in Europe, the 1500cc was an option. Okay, it wasn't mandatory. They still had 1300s on some 67s, and also what's really funny is, you know, in Europe they had if you did have the 1500 motor, it still had 6 volt electrical system, which is kind of funny. And the generator itself was actually the size of the 12 volt generator, so you had a 6 volt generator, but it had the body of a 12 volt, and naturally a 12 volt generator is much wider than a 6 volt generator. Okay, so as we work our way into the inside of the car, as you can see here, I went for a little more different interior, vintage custom interior that I got from SoFine. The original Savannah beige car would have actually had a black vinyl interior or the tan interior, and you can pick those interiors up from Wolfsburg West or BuGs or something. But the most obvious change here, right off the bat, just looking at the doors, is the door handle pull here to open and close the door. They use this type of handle here from 67 onward. So this got rid of the ice pick handle that was used 66 and earlier. And then these 1 year only window crank handles, as you can see, these have a black rubbery knob on the end. It's kind of a wider knob as opposed to a hard plastic knob they would have had earlier. Wolfsburg West is actually reproducing these, so if you did need to get these, they do make the exact replication. They are pretty good. These are actually Wolfsburg handles. They're pretty good. When I got this car, it didn't have the most common thing is that the knob breaks off over the years. You know, it just kind of cracks and breaks off. So I wanted to get some new ones.